Okay, welcome back. And in this video, I'm going to answer some of the questions that a few of you have put on my last video, which was me reviewing my building surveying career. So bear with me. I'm going to jump in and get straight to it. And if you have more questions, don't hesitate to comment below, and either I'll come back to you or I might do another video. So here we go. Okay, probably helps if I load it up first. Okay, so SSR12 E4Z says, "Hey dude, great video. I'm looking at doing a conversion course MSc. Would be great to connect to find out more." The answer to that one is message me so we can connect. The next one is Mucky D says, "Hi David, the 2 years experience to start the process of being chartered, is that only postgraduate experience? From what I've read, there is a shortage of building surveyors, and to me, it makes sense to skip a placement year to get into the workforce sooner. Do you think this is possible? Thanks." Yeah, no problem. So the 2 years experience to start the process of being chartered. Maybe I didn't explain it well enough actually in the first video. Essentially, after you've done your degree, you need to have 2 years before you can sit the APC, which is the accreditation for professional competency. Now, you don't need to do 2 years and then start the process. You start the process when you first get your job. So after you've done 2 years on the job, you can then sit your APC and hopefully pass first round. So, you could be chartered within 2.5 years if it all goes well. So don't worry about that. Get stuck straight in. Um, Next up, Nicholas Line 8783 says, "Hello, mate. Great video. Thank you. Um, I'm thinking about doing the master's conversion degree, but I'm slightly worried about my employability after the degree, given that I won't have any practical experience and the job advertisements I've seen ask for 1 year minimum experience. What was your experience with getting your first job after completing your master's?" My experience was actually, maybe this was just for me, but it wasn't too hard. I think I had 4 or 5 job offers. I also had a few in New Zealand because I was looking at going out there. Didn't end up doing that in the end. Um, but in terms of having 1 year minimum experience, I think that's pretty rogue and wild for people to actually expect that because, like, how would anybody ever get a job? So, yeah, to be honest, I wouldn't worry too much about that because there's so many job opportunities for building surveyors at the moment. There's a massive glut in the market, so I think, don't quote me on this, but I really believe that there's a high probability of getting a job after you've done your course. Now, you could very easily get some experience by just you know doing some work placements while you're doing your master's degree. So I'd recommend doing that. And if you can, try and find people who, like me, for example, have done the thing that you want to do, and we can give you some pointers on how you can get experience, what you should read up on, all that kind of stuff. Because from my experience, there's a the difference between doing the master's degree and actually doing the job is night and day. So yeah, try and get some experience if you can while you're doing your masters. Okay, hi, I'm a first year. Sorry, this is RT Footy 6458 says, "Hi, I'm a first year accounting and finance student and I'm looking to do my MSc conversion course in quantity surveying after the 3 years. If I'm looking to do this, is there any point taking a placement year in an accounting firm during my BSc, as that year of experience will be somewhat not relevant? Hope to hear from you soon." So yeah, it's quite a hard one actually, because as much as it probably isn't relevant, it sort of is, because if you're gonna like run a business, or if you're ambitious and want to get to like director or manager, all that kind of stuff, you sort of do need to know a little bit about accounting and running a business, and I think that's what accounting really really good at. So I don't think it's irrelevant, and I think actually using that experience to go into something completely different might actually give you the benefit of having more well-rounded experience, because I always have it where the company accountant will reference, "Oh, UK accounting principles," or XYZ, and I'm like, I'm not really very strong in that department. So I wouldn't say it's a negative. I wouldn't say it's really hard to say. I think it's like one of those. It's yes and no. It's good, but it could be better. And yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I suppose the really good way to look at this is, if you're going to do it, if you're going to do a placement year in accounting, you can use that time to suss out if you actually really like accounting, or if you have, basically find out that you don't like it. It's one way to look at it. If you want to talk more about that, give me a shout. Okay, next up, Stretching 7841 says, "Hello, thank you so much for sharing. I'm considering doing a master's in BS, building surveying. Hopefully, could become chartered. But after the master's degree, I'm going to turn 30 and that arouses my concerns about salary, time, etc. Is it too late to start this career at the age of 30? Would like to hear your opinion and appreciate your time. Cool. Okay. Well, on my master's degree, I think there was like a dozen people who were late 30s, early 40s, and there was even a guy who was 62. And I know that chap actually has a job, and I think he might be chartered. So I don't really believe it's too late to do this. The only thing that might be quite frustrating is I don't know what you're doing now, but if you're going to take a bit of a pay cut to go back to like a trainee position, that might be a bit frustrating, just something to consider. But at the same time, what I like to think about is decisions should always be thought of over the long term. And even if you have a couple of years where you're taking a bit of a hit on the income, think about it over the long term because it's careers are a long period of time. And if you have to go down, if you have to put your ladder up against a different wall to do the thing you want to do, it's much better to climb back down and go back up. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. And at the end of the day, I think 30 is the new 20 because we're living longer and on average, life quality is much higher. So yeah, I think you're fine. I think you're fine. Okay, so next up is Goffhar. 6345 says, "Hi David, really appreciate for you to share your experience. I am 30. I have an accounting degree and have been doing business intelligence now. Oh my goodness, wow, since university. I'm thinking to have a career break. Love that idea. What would you recommend if I take a master's on building surveying or apply for a trainee role and study part time?" Okay. Um, well, firstly, it sounds like you've got some pretty epic experience if you have an accounting degree and you've been doing business intelligence analysis. That's really cool. Um, the career break, I think, is a great idea. From my experience, the people who've gone away to spend a couple of years, away from work, traveling, doing some random jobs, always seem to do better in the career because they sort of got out of their system. They got a bit more life experience, and yeah, you can really tell the people who have and haven't are normally more mature as well. Um, so yeah, I think you could either do it. Yeah, you could do it full time, the building surveyor masters, which is 12 months, or apply for a trainee role and study part time. Now, the trainee role and part time masters is 24 months, and the only problem with that is you still need to do another 2 years before you can sit the APC. But at the same time, you're making money from day one. Now, unfortunately, I've found that people in this position don't get paid what I think they should, especially if you've already got a degree, especially in accounting, and you've got significant experience, which it looks like you do. So I guess really this is actually a question that will come down to you in terms of how quickly you want to do the thing. Are you happy to get paid probably not a very good salary for that trainee role? But I think the thing with the trainee role is that you kind of like get that leg up on the career ladder so quickly because you get thrown into the deep end on day one. And as I mentioned before, the difference between working, actually doing the job and learning about the job on the master's degree is like night and day. So yeah, it's really hard to answer. But if you want to have a real epic year, maybe just do the master's degree without working. Okay, next up is Kilo Whiskey G9T. Says, "This was a great video. After 19 years drawing building plans, I made the jump into surveying. As you stated, not all surveying roles will give you a wider understanding of building surveying. My role is specialising in repairs and maintenance in the social housing sector. I'd like to become chartered at some point, but not sure the experience in my role would expose me enough to the APC criteria to become chartered. Would an associate RSCS be easier to obtain? If not, I have been looking at distance learning MSc, but worried it may be too much work." Um, to be honest, mate, I'm pretty sure if you've done 18 years drawing building plans and then went into surveying to specialise in repairs and maintenance in the social housing sector, I'm pretty sure you would have enough experience. You can do the senior professional route, which I think what happens is if you have 5 years experience in a relevant profession with some qualifications, you can then sit the APC that way. Um, but the thing is, the APC is quite. You do find a lot of the modules do cross over, and to be honest, mate, I'd be really surprised if you didn't have enough experience to do that. I reckon we should have a chat about that, and I might be able to give you some extra guidance on how you can do the thing because I know people who have had less experience than what you have doing and passing the APC. So let's have a chat about that. Um, Lastly is Stusherwood1274 says, "Hi Dave, great video. I'm a QS with an RSCS accredited MSc completed 7 years ago. Not chartered, have been enrolled in the APC for some time. You're on the QS and construction pathway, and in the last few years, you become burnt out working as a PQS, but have always found the technical side of property and construction far more interesting. I'm currently taking a career break and considering my options. I'm considering transferring, if possible, to become a building surveyor. And you want to know if I think this is feasible. Uh, yes, this is highly feasible. And I actually think this is an advantage because if you have a good amount of experience, which it sounds like you do, in the QS and construction realm, because you've been working as a PQS, I think if you can take that and then apply it to building surveying, you're going to be miles ahead of the people who've just trained as building surveyors. I just remember a lot of the modules on the ABC pathway, they do cross over. So you could probably find that you could almost take the thing, maybe not instantly, but in a very short period of time. Yeah, that sounds awesome. And I think one of the things I wanted to mention about the APC is it's got this like big spooky fear about it that like a lot of the older generation like to throw out to the younger guys. I don't think it's as bad as everybody makes it out to be. You know, it is a hard thing to do. The actual 1 hour interview is pretty grueling, but from my experience, the assessors they do want you to pass, and they are as nervous as the people taking the assessment. I'm an accredited assessor myself, and it was really interesting to be involved in the course because, like, it's interesting to understand how to ask the questions, what we're looking for, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's cool. It's not too hard. And I think there's a lot of doom mongering out there that tries to make it sound harder than it is. And I think it's all about just getting stuck in, having a good go. And also, if you fail, it doesn't matter. You just take it again. It's only a couple of years at the end of the day. Okay, so the other things I wanted to talk about was what you can do to get some experience or learn about the thing, if possible. I'm just seeing how long this is taking. Okay, don't want to make this too long and boring. I've got some books, and it's just really to give you some introduction into like what building surveying looks like on a day-to-day basis. This is a good book, Structural Repair of Traditional Buildings. Um, it's pretty cool because it's really easy to read. It's got loads of like drawings and stuff, and like every yeah, I mean this is that's not a good example. Yeah, like yeah, it's just got like loads of this stuff, and you can't really see it very well, but it's really easy to learn. And I find not a lot of building surveyors know enough about the structural reasons why buildings fail. That's a good one. The other one is Building Surveys and Reports. This book is so good. I use it almost every day, and it's just got everything about like the common building, and it's really good if you're new to it because you can read through the book, go look at some buildings, and you start to really understand the thing. That one's really good. And then the other thing is building surveyors and basically anybody in the construction industry who's a professional will use JCT contracts. Basically, what they are is a super comprehensive set of contracts. They look like this. Um, won't open it because it's got client information in it. But basically, it's super comprehensive. It's got all things like the delays, valuations, extensions of time, insurance, and basically you can get this book here that tells you everything about them. And it's quite interesting because there's so much stuff to these contracts. And I think if you're going to do the course and you rocked up understanding the JCT contract suite, you've been miles above everybody. Now, for the golden nugget, which is probably the biggest opportunity that I see on a daily basis, is having really good people skills. This is the thing that most people are not so good at, including myself, to be fair. And that is people skills. Basically, I'm I've never been in like a bit of a realm where there's so many people who are terrible with other people. And why I think this is such a golden opportunity is if you're somebody who can manage conflicts, you know, communicate intelligently, assert yourself, and actually just listen to others, I think you've got a leg up on almost all the competition because building surveying is a job where you have to resolve conflicts. Like you just have to do it. It happens all the time. I got a few at the moment that are a real disaster because the client didn't do a thing properly or the contractor's not done what we asked them to do. And actually bringing those people together, seeing their perspectives, communicating emotionally or emphatically is really, really important. So this is a really good book to check out, and it's got things like here we go. Skills for bridging the interpersonal gap, barriers to communication, listening skills, assertion skills, conflict management skills, and it really and it also has a whole section that talks about how to put this stuff to work in the workplace. I will put links below to all of these. Anyway, I hope that was interesting, and if you have more comments, comment below, and if you want, I might actually do a video on this. Let me know if you want it. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.